Randy Marion Ford Lincoln right here in Statesville, I-77 exit 49B.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
It's 11:06 on Friday here on WSIC News Radio, and you're listening to We're Just Saying with Senator Vicky Sawyer and David. If you'd like to be part of the show, 844-STUDIO-4. We are streaming live, as always, on the WSIC News app. So,
Yes.
Hello, Senator Sawyer.
Hello, hello, hello.
So, I would like, before we get started,
Yes.
I'd like you to tell our audience who tuned in last week,
Yes.
how good did I do on your Mother's Day gift?
You did a great job on my Mother's Day gift. I am so appreciative. It's something I needed,
Yes, it
but I
is.
didn't know that I needed until I got it. And I was like, this is so cool.
Those are always the best gifts.
Yes.
The ones that you needed, but you didn't know.
Just really didn't know. So for those of you who are wondering what it is, it's our beloved alma mater, Go Niners.
Yeah, go Niners.
Golf bag for my golf clubs.
And it's a very nice golf bag.
that I cannot use very often because of this legislative life I have.
Exactly. But you know what? Hopefully short session is short.
No, it's not, man.
It's not going to be short.
I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening.
So the
Dude.
decree that, hey, we're going to be out by end of July, you're not feeling that one?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, I really am envious of other states who have constitutionally, you only can meet for 45 days. There are other states that say this is your defined time that you can meet, and there's none of this dragging on and on and on. I believe the state of Tennessee has a 45-day
South
session.
Carolina similar.
Is it?
South Carolina has a defined time frame that they can meet.
Okay. Let's do this. We need to do a constitutional amendment for no signs in the right of way, stop electioneering, and now a defined time for session for the General
You're
Assembly.
racking them up over there.
Hey, you know what? A girl can dream.
Absolutely.
A
But
girl
to be
can
fair,
dream.
I actually don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
It forces legislators to,
Yeah.
because to be fair, part of the political process is, jockeying and moving things around and everything like that.
Yes.
And when you do not have a defined time frame in which to do that,
Right.
you can just be, you can dig your heels in for, forever if you want
Yeah.
to. Ultimately, whereas if there's a defined time frame, it's like, okay, you got to come to the table.
Well, so yesterday or this week in the House, and I only know from secondhand I wasn't there, but there was a vote that had to take place on 2 days. So they actually met this week. Surprise! I kid with the House members. There's so much that I can throw off on, but I do give them grace because there's 120 members, so nothing to throw off on them about. But they had a vote, and then they were told, well, you need to vote tomorrow as well at the last minute. And guess what happened? They couldn't vote because people had canceled their hotel rooms. They weren't set there. I mean, it's just this weirdness of not having a defined schedule really hurts all of us.
Oh, no
and
doubt.
I'm sounding whiny right now. I'm not. I don't feel whiny, but
Well, also having a defined time frame also lets you know when you can be home working.
yeah,
And actually, earning a living,
Yeah.
which you can't do as a
Right.
legislator.
right.
And so, I mean, you all are spending months and months and months back to back. And
Mhm.
I think it was last year you might have had during long session you might have had a period of 3 weeks where you weren't in session.
Correct.
4 weeks you weren't
Yeah.
in session.
Yeah.
And that's just how do you work, support a family and everything like that and serve the public when you're there for that long a time?
I've said this many a times. I am the worst employee that Sawyer Insurance has. If I didn't have my name on the sign, I would have fired me years ago. My production's terrible. My output stinks. But, you can't really have a career and be effective in the legislature at this, you know what I mean? You have to almost choose one or the other.
Mhm.
And I think that's why you see a lot of us who are in my situation, who has a husband and a business at home, and he can kind of keep the home fires burning. But if you're the major breadwinner of your family, you are not, or you should not be in the legislature because arguably you're taking away some of your main earning years of your life to make $13,900 a year. So
100%. Well, and that's the thing, and that's why sort of you see sort of the nature of our legislature really is
mhm,
people who own their own businesses,
mhm,
folks that are retired,
right.
or independently wealthy,
Mhm.
a few, or have they're like law practices and things like
Right,
that,
right.
where they have the opportunity to still consult, do things within their law practice, but
Mhm.
there's fees coming into the practice as a whole,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
so it's like it makes it very difficult because you get a very narrowly defined
Uh-huh.
segment of the population that actually can afford, and in some cases not afford, but still do serve.
Okay, so this week it was a range of emotions for me. I almost had a moo moment.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so girlfriend and I talk about this. The moo moment is where you're just done and you're just going to go and wear a moo for the rest of your life and live your days out on a small farm, maybe with goats or, growing some vegetables. And, your nightly entertainment is reading a book or maybe listening to, AM radio in the
Okay.
mountains. So that's my
Okay.
moo moment. Okay.
Okay.
That's what we talk about it because it was so stinking crazy busy. Like every time I turned around, and it was a lot of folks who were single activists. So we had like convention estates and some folks who are worried about banning books in schools. I mean, it was a lot of like weighty conversations, and you just have to go from one to the other to the other to the other, and then they look at you like, well, fix it. And you're like, wait a minute, wait a minute. Like, I've just went from talking about banning books in school to like some kind of agriculture stuff to water quality to like transportation, all within 20 minutes. And they all look at you like,
Fix it.
you better support this. You're like, dude, I'm like, that was my moo moment when I was sitting there listening to some, deeply held concerns by a couple of the activist groups. And I was just like, oh my gosh, Cal, remember that old Cal go on, take me away?
Oh yes.
But after the break, I'm going to tell you what pulled me back off the moo moment.
Well, yeah,
I
because
had so much fun this week on some things.
oh, good. Well, see, there you go.
It,
So it wasn't all bad.
my inner competitor, well, I'm not inner, I am very competitive. My competitive streak about some legislation stuff that was moving, it was fun and fantastic, and I had such a good time.
Did you also channel your inner mean girl?
Oh, 100. Victoria was in the building.
Victoria.
It wasn't Vicky. It was Victoria.
That's when you know it's about to get real. When Victoria makes the appearance.
Yes, my alter. That is my God-given name, but yeah, that's also kind of my mean girl name as well, I think.
There it is. Right
She was there.
She was there.
And she doused hopes and dreams of several lobbyists.
Were you a dream killer?
Oh, 100%.
Now I'm excited to hear about this.
So much fun.
But if it makes you feel any better, I
Yes.
think that you can take solace. My wife is
Yes.
in a perpetual moo moment. She tells me every day she would go tomorrow on a tiny house on 3 acres.
Uh-huh.
I could come visit periodically. The kids maybe on occasion. She would take the dog. She would have some animals. She
Uh-huh.
would have her garden.
Yeah.
And she would she would be living her best life.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't even have anything to trigger. Like,
Okay.
and someday I'm just going to come home to a note. Bought the tiny house.
Yeah.
Here's the
Vicky
directions.
and I are moved
Vicky
to
and
the
I have moved.
mountains.
Vicky and I have moved out into the wilderness and are wearing our muumuus,
Wearing our moo-moos.
reading books, and doing our gardening.
Never to have a zipper or button again is what I call that. Like you
True
just,
story.
It's just,
Yeah, true story. Go with God. Wish you the best of luck.
yeah, I
Kiss the
know.
kids for me.
Yeah, all of our like hills and dresses and everything are all going to be like burning in the backyard as we head off to the mountains.
Exactly.
No, but I was pulled back in from my moo moment. I'm excited to share. It was so much fun.
Well, I know that your constituents will be very happy to hear that you
I
were
don't
pulled
know
back
about.
in.
Yeah, I guess so. We'll see. Some of them.
Some of 'em.
As in rated X. There's a few that's not.
That's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun.
You're listening to We're Just Saying on WSIC News Radio. We'll be right back.
We'll return with more of NC Senator Vicky Sawyer, and We're Just Saying after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, you know we couldn't keep the rain away very long. We're starting our Friday drive in increasing clouds as we go throughout the day and scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms on the way once we get into our Friday evening. So evening plans maybe want an indoor backup plan as well. High temperatures today into the low 80s or drop back into the low 60s tonight, with the rain tapering off a bit after midnight. And the first part of our Saturday could be pretty dry, but scattered showers and storms move back in by the evening. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like ISI Denver.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. This Friday and Saturday, the Thumb Pickers Convention is happening in Statesville. The Iredell Arts Council welcomes Eddie Pennington, Parker Hastings, Caleb Coots, and others. On Friday, the doors open at 5 p.m. with the concert starting at 6. On Saturday, open mic and workshops run from noon to 5 p.m. with the concert beginning at 6:30. Tickets will be sold at the door with combo packages available. For more information, visit IredellArtsCouncil.org. The Kane Center for the Arts welcomes a performance by the Charlotte Symphony Orchestra Sunday. This thrilling program includes works from Rachmaninoff, Wagner, Handel, and more. Doors open at 1 p.m. with a 2 p.m. showtime. For more information on these shows and many other programs, visit canearts.org. That's C-A-I-N arts.org. It is NASCAR All-Star Week at North Wilkesboro Speedway. On Friday, the NASCAR Cup Series holds practice and qualifying along with a concert featuring Tim Duggar and Neil McCoy. On Saturday, the NASCAR Truck Series contests the Wright Brand 250. Sunday is the NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Open and then the All-Star Race on Sunday night. Visit NorthWilkesboroSpeedway.com for details. Ghostface Brewing in Mooresville holds the inaugural Battle of the Bands on Sunday. 8 bands play their hearts out on 2 stages with 1 winner. The Battle of the Bands begins at 4 p.m. on Sunday at Ghostface Brewing in Mooresville. Micaiah's Bar and Live Music in Mooresville has a brand new trivia game on Tuesday, May 21st. Come out and meet WSIC on-air personalities as the station helps Micaiah's have fun with trivia on a Tuesday. We're excited to meet you on May 21st at Micaiah's. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
It's We're Just Saying with North Carolina Senator Vicky Sawyer on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Welcome back to We're Just Saying on WSIC News Radio with Senator Vicky Sawyer and David. If you'd like to be part of our show, 844-STUDIO-4. We are still streaming live on the WSIC News app. So other exciting things going on in Raleigh today. First, obviously, to mask or not to mask?
Oh,
That is the
yes.
question that is before the legislature at the moment.
I still have PTSD from all this COVID junk. I'm so sick of it. And this is one of those things I remember when we did this to allow for public masking for health concerns. So I don't know if you knew this, but before this, it was illegal to wear a mask in public for the purpose of concealing your identity. You want to know why?
Why?
Well, thugs be thugs, right? So you
Well,
don't
yeah.
have guys like walking into banks with masks on because then you
Obviously.
would think that yeah. So there's a thing there. It was actually because of Ku Klux Klan.
Really?
Yeah. So you know how they would have parades down the street
Oh,
and they
yeah.
would be in those white terrible masks
Mhm.
as to conceal their identity as a terrorist organization. I would say that some of these folks who are free Palestinian sympathizers are kind of similar to that regard. I mean, they're just as evidence as all this emails and phone calls that our offices got. Anyways, so that's why it started. You can't wear a mask in public for the purpose of concealing your identity. And I keep saying that for the purpose of concealing your identity over and over again because that matters.
Right.
Because that portion is totally different than for health and safety concerns. So we ran the bill to repeal the exception. So now you can't wear, well, it's in the House, the Senate. So anyways, it's not a law yet, but the Democrats totally ginned it up as you're going to kill cancer patients, you mean horrible people, the cancer and folks who are immunocompromised, and you're taking away their freedom to wear a mask to protect themselves. I'm like, do you hear yourself? Like,
Yeah.
do you really think that us Republicans are going to want to deny immunocompromised people to protect themselves from getting sick. Like, okay, first of all, we're not that mean.
Right.
Second of all, we're conservative, so we don't want them to go to the hospital because it costs more money to go to the hospital. I mean, like,
Yeah.
we're humans, and that is absolutely not it. We don't want thugs being thugs, right? I mean,
Well, and it's
stop
like-
being thugs.
Well, and like you said, that for the purpose of concealing your identity.
Yes,
And that is the key here.
right.
And so if you're and to be fair, if you're if you're compromising your immune system
Yeah.
and everything like that, I have to think that on some level, not to get into a huge crowd of people
Right.
yelling and screaming and
Right.
and throwing things, right?
Oh,
Or protesting,
yeah.
right? I would think that, hey, you probably know that's not the place for you.
Right.
So are we really doing that?
One member had mentioned, and actually I like him very much, but he had mentioned, well, a protester was being doxxed. Isn't that what we call it, doxxed on social media, where they
Yeah.
actually come back after you or
Yeah,
whatever?
well,
So,
basically they track you down and like start sending things out to you, your family, your
Yeah.
employer, all that kind of stuff.
so there was a person who was in one of these protests recently who were causing all kinds of havoc and heck on our college campuses, and they didn't have their mask on, and so they got backlash on social media, and they were crying about it. I'm like, dude. Like, what?
Serves you right.
Right. Sticks and stones, buddy. You
Yeah.
can go up there and burn the American flag and do all this other stuff, but you want to do it while concealing your identity? Like, where's your
Yeah.
grow up.
Well, that's the thing about it. It's like you are so passionate about this that you want to protest, but you don't want anybody to know that's you.
Oh, no.
I don't want anybody to know it's me.
No.
It's the same mentality of why people online can hide behind their clever X names and the Ukraine flag, right?
Yes.
And yell at you
Yeah.
and say
Yeah.
awful, horrible things to you and other people, because that gift of anonymity. And we see what happens when that anonymity goes away, right? And you have said all these horrible
Yeah.
things, and people find out that it was you, and then people legitimately start saying, "Hey, you're not a good person,"
Right.
calling you out for
And
what
I don't
you
want
did.
you to be employed by
And
me.
I don't want
and
you- exactly.
I mean, hey, actions have consequences,
Yeah.
kids.
Look,
Like,
if you're
grow
really passionate
up.
about these things and you feel like, here's what I will say. If you are out there protesting and you fancy yourself doing something great for society
Yeah.
and you're changing the world and everything like that, I would simply point to you to the fact Martin Luther King never wore a mask when he protested.
Right.
The people who protested during the civil rights movement didn't wear masks.
Right.
The people who attacked them for protesting wore masks.
Oh, good
They're the ones
point.
who hid their faces. So
Excellent.
if you're not going to do it, protesting in and of itself, nothing wrong with that. But if you want to throw Molotov cocktails and rocks and have stuff that you go after police with
Yeah.
and things like that, and you want to conceal your identity, no,
Yeah.
that's not how this works.
Good. I love it. Absolutely.
I just came up with that on the fly.
You know what? You amaze me daily of your ability to baloney through a subject.
See, now that was not baloney. That was a profound point. That I
It actually
made
was
right
a good
there.
point. It was a good point on the fly.
Thank you. That's my one. I'm done.
Yeah, but so these people got so angry. Like, okay, so this is the funniest phone call that I heard. So first of all, they were threatening our rules chairman, Bill Rabin, for running the bill. They were leaving threatening emails and phone calls, physically threatening him. He mentioned it during. And so I was in his office and listening to some of his calls with his assistant. And so this one woman, she said, "We vacation there every summer. I'm going to tell everybody not to vacation again in North Carolina." Do you hear yourself? You are not a North Carolinian.
Don't
You
diminish
don't
her.
vote
You never
in North
know.
Carolina.
You never know. She may have wide sway, Vicky. Come on.
I mean,
She may have ones of fives of people that listen to her.
yeah.
She might have 5 people that will not vacation in North Carolina. Take that, sales tax.
Take that. Okay.
but to be fair, knowing Senator Raven, I can only imagine the laughter.
Oh, yeah.
and that was coming from him listening to things like that. Because there's a lot of people in the world that you might be able to intimidate with things like that. Bill Raven ain't one of them.
No.
He ain't one of them.
No, honey badger.
Yes.
He is a honey badger. Remember that meme
Yep.
from honey badger don't care?
Yep.
Honey badger don't care.
Yep.
He don't care, and he will get you in the end. Speaking about someone who cares but has directed it in the wrong way, our beleaguered DMV
Uh-oh.
again.
Again? This is becoming... I
Again.
almost feel like we need a staple on the show of talking about DMV, because you got something every week.
embarrassing. Okay. So a couple weeks ago, I'm trying to make this part quick. A couple weeks ago, members started getting phone calls and emails asking for help because they had their temporary driver's license. You know, when you go in and you get a renewal or a new license, and they give you that printed out one.
Yeah.
Okay, it's paper, and then you wait for it to come to the mail. Okay, so that's fine. People went and got them, but at the bottom of it says not valid after 60 days. Okay, fine. But then we keep on getting these calls and like, what's going on? So we started looking into it. And then the DMV commissioner sends out this email and says, the current vendor has basically messed up, and I've got the wording and stuff right here. But anyways, they're experiencing production delays because the outside private contractor that prints official license and ID cards, and it's taking longer. So totally blames it on this vendor. Okay, now the drop of that is they're changing vendors. They're going from one person to the other, one company to the other, right? Which is totally jacked up, anyways. So he blames the vendor. The vendor comes back and says, oh, contraire, mon frere. Let me tell you what happened here. That on February 20th, the DMV actually connected with the vendor and said, stop printing, because we've had some kind of like breach. In other words, I think there were people that they allowed to get their license renewed online, but they were supposed to have come into the actual DMV to get a new picture taken. And so they said, oh, no. So again, they messed up, right? So they said, no, don't send those out. Stop printing. That really, okay, fine. That really matters when you tell a vendor to stop printing, that you at some point tell them to start printing again.
Yeah. It's not just instantaneous.
No. So like, a couple weeks go by, and like they're printing like 22,000 IDs a week.
Wow.
Yeah. Driver's license a week. I'm probably part of that because I lose my driver's license, like misplace it a lot. So like people like me who keep on getting the same one over and over again. But yeah, so they just stopped. Well, think about what happens. Backlog. And now there's people who's not going to have their hard driver's license or their. And what do you need for that? Like old people will need medicine, and sometimes you have to have your driver's license in order to get certain prescriptions.
If you want to open a checking account, if you want to
close on a loan,
if you want
on
to get a hotel room,
if you want to write insurance, hotel room, and it specifically says at the bottom of this piece of paper, not valid after 60 days. And so
your tax dollars at work.
And then they knew it. That's just the thing. He knew it was coming. And he sent out an email blaming the vendor, when all the while it was the DMV who started and had this whole problem to begin with. So you're like, dude, what?
That is nuts.
That
is nuts.
It's nuts.
I mean,
these are, yeah. So it was fun, kind of. That was one of my mean girl fun things, because going down and looking through the actual timeline of events and how it happened and what really is going on. And the whole time you're going, what are y'all doing to fix this? Right? What are you doing to fix this? You guys started this problem. You've got to fix this problem. And we're going to see. I've gotten a note from the vendor today that they are trying to amp up and get, and on good measure, trying to get more and more printed. They've increased that, but we're still the DMV, man.
The DMV.
The
dreaded DMV.
Yeah. We got some fun stuff coming from them, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When we get back from the break,
my real mean girl thing.
Yeah, we're gonna get to talk to Victoria.
Oh, Victoria will be back.
Victoria will be making an appearance after our break. So I am very anxious to learn about this, because I have seen Victoria before in action. It is something to behold. So I am anxious for this story. You're listening to We're Just Saying on WSIC News Radio. We'll be back.
I just snorted.
Stay with us. We'll have more of We're Just Saying with NC Senator Vicki Sawyer after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, we couldn't keep the rain away very long. We're starting our Friday drive in increasing clouds as we go throughout the day, and Scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms on the way once we get into our Friday evening. So evening plans, maybe want an indoor backup plan as well. High temperatures today into the low 80s. We drop back into the low 60s tonight with the rain tapering off a bit after midnight. And the first part of our Saturday could be pretty dry, but scattered showers and storms move back in by the evening. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hi, this is Andy with Lake Mountain Coffee, located at 110 West Broad Street in Statesville. Many of you probably know us from our large coffee house downtown, but did you know we're also the owners of Statesville's first and only coffee roasting facility? We purchase coffee beans from around the world, bring them right here to Statesville, roast them in our facility for our customers around the region. Why would you go to a grocery store, purchase old coffee beans off the shelf, or any other source when you can have fresh roasted beans at Lake Mountain Coffee? 131 West Broad Street in Statesville.
Right now, Sharp's Lawn Equipment is offering 0% financing up to $800 rebates and Toro time cutter mowers as low as $29.99. Visit Sharp's Lawn Equipment in Statesville or visit us at sharpslawn.com.
We used to argue about whose turn it was to clean the gutters, but then I had Leaf Filter gutter protection installed.
Wait, I told you Leaf Filter had free inspections and estimates and a lifetime guarantee.
Meaning we never have to argue about whose turn it is to clean the gutters again.
But I visited leaffilter.com/beacon first.
No, I did.
It doesn't matter who. Visit leaffilter.com/beacon to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheets. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheets. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
Hi, this is Josh Wadobe. Join me Thursdays at 4 p.m. for Dollars and Cents, a show that focuses on your personal financial journey and the markets around us. That's Dollars and Cents, Thursday afternoons at 4, here on WSIC.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Industry data show money market fund assets continue running at historic levels. Retail investors have piled into money market funds since the Fed started tightening 2 years ago to fight inflation. The funds pay higher rates than most bank checking and saving accounts, but they aren't insured. Total money market fund assets rose last week to $6.05 trillion, one of the highest totals ever. That's even with Wall Street speculation the Fed could ease this year, though Fed officials continue to signal they're in no rush. Reddit shares are higher after the firm announced a partnership with OpenAI to bring its content to the popular ChatGPT chatbot. Analysts note that the deal will boost the social media company's data licensing business and traffic on the networking platform. Meanwhile, Cracker Barrel is the latest restaurant chain to signal trouble ahead. It's cut its quarterly dividend as fewer customers coming through the doors have it scaling back its outlook for the next couple of quarters. It's also recently closed some locations. Erica Herskowitz, Bloomberg Radio.
Now back to We're Just Saying with North Carolina Senator Vicky Sawyer on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back to We're Just Saying on WSIC News Radio with Senator Vicky Sawyer and David. If you'd like to be part of our show, 844 Studio 4. We are still streaming live on the WSIC News app. All right. Victoria. Talk to us, Victoria. Who did you make cry?
I didn't make anybody cry. Actually, I didn't make anybody cry. No, not a bit.
As far as you know.
Oh, fair. Fair. That's true. No. So this is when I had so much fun. So moving a transportation bill through, and they call it an agency bill when it's asked that the agency wants and they need it. And so part of that was not necessarily the agency's ask, but a pre-negotiated settlement on billboards. I don't know if many people outside of this little the Raleigh bubble realize how contentious billboards are. People just hate them. Some people, I do not. Some people hate them.
See, I don't understand it. I mean,
hate.
I have never had a problem with a billboard. I enjoy a billboard. You never know what you might learn, or a
Right.
product that you might not
I
know is
mean,
out there.
how would I ever have found south of the border without a
Thank you.
billboard?
Thank you.
Or to know about Walter Burrell, South Carolina, with the rocking chair. You see the
Yeah.
Walter Burrell thing. I mean,
Or what the Mega Millions or the Powerball is up to. Because I
I
don't play
know.
until it gets above 300 million. Because
Right.
before that, it's not worth it.
Right.
It's just really not.
Right. Because,
You
I
know,
mean, you
who
already
can-
have that
who can
much
live
money.
Who can live on 299 million?
I don't
mean,
know.
not many.
I-
You get to 300, then it starts to get, then it starts to get, worthy. I would not know had but for billboards.
I didn't know that Florida had so many vasectomy bill needs for that. Have you ever been in Florida driving?
I actually have
And
seen
it's
those.
like there's 1,000 vasectomies.
Yes, I have seen those as well and then there's a lot of personal injury billboards going along the
there's a
interstates
lot
down there too. A lot of those.
Like Better Call Saul kind of
yeah,
guys.
I'll get you $1 million.
I love the mustaches. I love the.
Those are pretty solid.
This is really solid. Okay, I digress. So the part of this piece of legislation was that a billboard could open up their cut area. In other words, some older legacy billboards, they could only cut like straight in and right, like a 90 in, 90 out. And so this was giving them the opportunity so that you could actually see their billboard. So that was part of it. And then if they cut stuff down, there's a fee that they, okay.
And by stuff like trees that are overgrown,
Yeah.
shrubs, things like that.
Yeah, just because, it's now, mind you, no other business that I know of in North Carolina is not allowed to cut down, or mow their grass
Right,
basically
yeah.
in front of their building.
Yeah.
But billboards, for some reason, hate these people. So, okay, I digress. Well, this is kind of like an agreed upon thing. The House and the Senate, transportation, we got it all worked out. We're moving the bill, and here comes the pain. And so a lobbyist, very good lobbyist, was supporting the anti-billboard crowd, and she worked really hard to get an amendment in. In fact, I think there were some things about what she was going to do, and then all of a sudden I was like, game on. Let's do it. Let's see what we can do.
But you're leaving a key point out.
I
She
am.
looked you in your face.
Well, not me, but but yes, it said, I am running an amendment on this bill. And I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's see how this works. And for some reason, in the haste and busyness of my day, I just laser focused in. And I have spent, I was talking to LAs and I was whispering in other legislators' ears. I was talking to chair people. At that point in my day, the whole day and the whole 2 days, my point was to undercut that amendment the whole time. Just for no other reason other than just because first of all, it wasn't a good amendment.
Right.
And if you hear this and you're thinking, oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. It wasn't a good amendment. It was something that was specifically put in there to put the bill in controversy so that it could be taken out into the House. So it was a really good, slick lobbyist move. It really was. But I was like, I see you. I see what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing. That's a good game that you're trying to play here. But we're not having it.
I know your game.
I know it. And it was so much fun, because I was talking to folks and, like side talking and going to lunch. And it was, it took me out of my moo-moo moment. And it was just great.
And then all of a sudden you were just like, you know what? Now I remember why I do this.
This is why I do it. And so the bill moves to the committee. And guess what?
What?
No amendment was presented. It moves to the floor. And guess what?
No amendments?
No conversation, no nothing. It just went up, voted, and went away. And I was like, yay!
So really, you this was just your way of, after she said, I'm running this amendment, you just saying, bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Yeah. But I appreciate the tradecraft because it's fun. That kind of stuff to me is so much fun to see, maneuver and figure out where people are going with stuff and, these small little wins. It's just fun. But it's, I'm sure it'll come around to haunt me at some point. But at the time, it was good stuff.
Well, and to be fair, not allowing people to basically having a bill. What's good of having a billboard if you cannot
see it? Yeah.
And and putting rules in place that don't allow overgrowth and things like that to the point that you can't see it.
Yeah.
And then making you pay fees just for cleaning up so it can be seen. Simple logic would say, you should be able to cut back, vegetation and things like that so
Yeah.
your billboard can be seen.
So Senator Lazar had a really good point because in this bill, before billboards were not allowed to cut dogwoods or red bud trees, which are
Dogwoods being the state tree of North Carolina.
and red buds also being a native tree, also a fast growing tree. And so so they had some issues with cutting down of red buds. And Senator Lazar made a really good point. In Randolph County, they're building the Toyota mega site. It's over 2,000 acres. I've seen it. There was not a tree left standing on that 2,000 acres.
That was clear cutting.
But yeah, that was no, that's okay,
Yeah.
right? But a red bud in front of a billboard somewhere, that's like the end of the world is going to happen. But because Toyota was allowed to cut down around 2,000 acres of vegetation because they're going to do a battery manufacturing plant. That's okay, right? This is like, where's your logic, man? Like, just
You're searching for the tree. The tree only feels pain if it's in front of a billboard.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Okay.
So the trees have feelings, but they only have feelings if it's in front of the billboard.
Correct.
If it's for business or other things like that, the tree doesn't have feelings.
Yeah,
at that
especially if it's going to be to an EV manufacturer
Exactly.
for batteries. So
it's science. It's science.
Well, no, maybe the tree at that point like actually gives itself over and up and like is okay with the suicide of it or the annihilation.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it gives itself to
It's
the land.
altruistic that way.
Right, because the
Whereas-
lithium mining that's going to
Yes.
happen to get all of that minerals to there that was sometimes taken over big large barges from overseas where children were mining with bare feet and their bare hands with no masks to get the lithium across on the barges, on the diesel barges, so that we can make these batteries to kill red buds and dogwoods.
Well, that's when it's okay.
Is that okay?
That's when it's okay.
Okay, now I get it.
Exactly. So you have found the logic, you understand the reasoning. Well done. And it's very simple, and it's science.
Math.
So, well, congratulations, Victoria.
Thank you. Victoria was there.
It was a good stress reliever for you.
I know. But I think, for karma's sake, for every one amendment that I try to kill, I'm going to have to, bring another amendment or up. It's easy to say no. It's harder to say yes. So I'm going to have to put some goodwill out in the world.
Well, then that's fair. I mean, it's like they say for every new thing you learn, you forget something else, right? And so
I think at this age, it's like
I'm sort of continually forgetting,
Yes.
and then if I learn something new, that's just accelerating the process.
I know this whole thing. Nobody told me about the age deal that you just start forgetting stuff.
Well, and that's what because I will literally be looking having a conversation with someone and be ready to and I was talking to. It's like, what was their name? I see their face. What their name was? It'll come to me. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
I find myself doing that more and more these days.
I totally will walk into a room with purpose and have no idea why. I just stand there like, what?
What was the joke that used to be that if you forget something, if you go to somewhere and you forget something, just go back and sit down because the thought just went to your butt, and so if you sit back down, it'll kick it back up into your head, and then you'll remember what it was that you needed.
This getting older is not for the weak, man. I mean, it's a privilege. It's
No,
a privilege
absolutely.
that not everybody gets.
It's not for the faint of heart.
But it's not for the weak or faint of heart or the mind.
Exactly.
Mind.
Well, anything? So before we wrap up, Raleigh.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else?
No, just busy. Well, at least on the Senate side, the House was in and out, but just on our side, it just seems like it's going 1,000 miles an hour. We are doing our budget. We reported for the DOT. It's just busy. I mean, really, I don't know if you're hearing that kind of stuff too, but it just felt like a revolving door and full days. Like I got to the building usually like 7 or 7:30 every morning, and I didn't lay my head down at night until like 10 o'clock. It's because I was absolutely out doing all kinds of stuff.
Well,
So,
and you've got a lot of meetings because everybody's trying to cram everything in, make sure their stuff gets taken care of, and everything like that. I know that some of the lobbyists that I know down there that I typically hear from didn't hear from a whole lot because they were just cranking through meetings after meeting after meeting.
yeah, I'm sure those same lobbyists will ask you to make sure that Victoria stays at home next week. And,
Yeah, actually 3 or 4 texts came through as we were talking. It's like, I don't want to meet Victoria.
yeah.
Can you help me with that? And I was just
Well,
like, absolutely not.
Yeah, well, Rated
I'm not.
X.
I'm not getting into that.
Our Rated X segment, you might meet Victoria.
You definitely. We'll have
Yeah.
to pull that up here. You're listening to We're Just Saying on WSIC News. We'll be right back.
There's more We're Just Saying with North Carolina Senator Vicky Sawyer on the way from 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, you know we couldn't keep the rain away very long. We're starting our Friday drive in increasing clouds as we go throughout the day and scattered showers and a couple of thunderstorms on the way once we get into our Friday evening. So evening plans, maybe want an indoor backup plan as well. High temperatures today into the low 80s. We drop back into the low 60s tonight with the rain tapering off a bit after midnight. And the first part of our Saturday could be pretty dry, but scattered showers and storms move back in by the evening. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. This Friday and Saturday, the Thumb Pickers Convention is happening in Statesville. The Iredell Arts Council welcomes Eddie Pennington, Parker Hastings, Caleb Coots, and others. On Friday, the doors open at 5 p.m. with the concert starting at 6. On Saturday, open mic and workshops run from noon to 5 p.m. with the concert beginning at 6:30. Tickets will be sold at the door with combo packages available. For more information, visit IredellArtsCouncil.org. The Kane Center for the Arts welcomes a performance by the Charlotte Symphony Orchestra Sunday. This thrilling program includes works from Rachmaninoff, Wagner, Handel, and more. Doors open at 1 p.m. with a 2 p.m. showtime. For more information on these shows and many other programs, visit canearts.org. That's C-A-I-N arts.org. It is NASCAR All-Star Week at North Wilkesboro Speedway. On Friday, the NASCAR Cup Series holds practice and qualifying along with a concert featuring Tim Duggar and Neil McCoy. On Saturday, the NASCAR Truck Series contests the Wright Brand 250. Sunday is the NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Open and then the All-Star Race on Sunday night. Visit NorthWilkesboroSpeedway.com for details. Ghostface Brewing in Mooresville holds the inaugural Battle of the Bands on Sunday. 8 bands play their hearts out on 2 stages with 1 winner. The Battle of the Bands begins at 4 p.m. on Sunday at Ghostface Brewing in Mooresville. Micaiah's Bar and Live Music in Mooresville has a brand new trivia game on Tuesday, May 21st. Come out and meet WSIC on-air personalities as the station helps Micaiah's have fun with trivia on a Tuesday. We're excited to meet you on May 21st at Micaiah's. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Call now to speak with NC Senator Vicky Sawyer at 844-STUDIO-4. It's We're Just Saying on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back to We're Just Saying on WSIC News Radio with Senator Vicky Sawyer and David. Like to be part of our show, 844-STUDIO-4, streaming live on the WSIC News app. So you seem overly excited
I am.
to talk about roofing.
I am.
Like you sent that on the show and you said roofing, and I was like, did you mean like roofies? Like are
Oh,
you
like
running
if
a
I'm
drug
roofing?
bill to protect people or something like that? No, you actually mean roofing, like as in putting roofs
Nails.
on.
Shingles, nails.
It's
yes.
Is it roofs?
Roofing.
Roofs or
Roof-
roofs? Is it roof? Is the plural roofs or roofs?
I don't know, like hoof or hooves?
Yeah, like it's hooves, right?
Huh.
I mean, I'm assuming
Roofs.
grammatically it's roofs, right?
No, it's got to be roofs.
You think so? I don't know. We'll ask Siri. We'll ask Siri when we get off the show. I'll ask Siri. Anyway,
Yeah.
talk about
Is that about the roofs?
I was trying to liven up the roofing
Roofs.
talk. So talk about your roofing.
Okay, so finally, it's a piece of legislation that I actually have been working with a lobbyist who has done fantastic job. And I kept having an issue with a piece of legislation that I filed for roofs. Now, this is straight out consumer protection. What we had and continue to have are, especially after a storm, we have fly-by-night guys and ladies who come in, they knock on your door, they say that you may have hail damage because they just inspected a house down the street, which they may or may not have. They get on top of your roof, they tell you you have hail damage. Sometimes you didn't, sometimes you may, But there's always this idea. So they'll say, don't worry about it. You know what, David? Don't worry about it. I see that you have a hail damage. I'll go ahead and turn in the claim for you, because I'm just going to be helpful. And we'll go ahead and get your roof replaced. Well, the insurance company comes out and says, wait a minute. Okay, you don't have hail damage. There is no hail damage on this roof. Now you have a claim against your insurance. And in some situations, you've already signed a contract to have your roof replaced. So you got this roof replacement, and guess what? You don't have money from the insurance company. So there's so many ways that dirty dogs will take advantage, and especially of older people. So when I first came to Raleigh, this was one of my main goals. And I thought it was such a simple bill to protect people against predatory roofers. But guess what?
It was not easy.
No. I've been in there, 5 years now?
Yeah.
And it's now, thank the good Lord, Representative Sarah Stevens in the House has saw fit to put this roofing bill to protect consumers into a Senate Bill 124. And I'm so stinking happy that it's passing and going through. So
why was this controversial? Why has it been so difficult?
Because when you start getting down into it, there is a libertarian streak in the Senate that says that the government shouldn't get in between a contractor and a consumer, that is a private matter, and then they should stay out. Now, we have examples where we already do this, but it actually would extend another area of the law that would allow for that kind of creep in. So there was this resistance. And there's also another thing where, do you want to limit roofers who can do the work, and especially in the time of storm damage, that may be good roofers, but if you make them do certain things, then they may not be, people may not get the help that they need. And they just thought it was a pro-insurance company thing, and people just don't like insurance companies.
Well, fair.
As an insurance agent, I get it. They're not
Fair.
as sympathetic, people. And so there was all of these, and we kept working and working and working and whittling away at this, this whole idea about how we're going to do roofing language, because it really does stink when these people come in, they replace a roof, and sometimes they don't have the sheathing down. They install the roof. They're gone out of state. You have this roof, even if the insurance company paid for it, and you have a water leak. And now insurance does not cover improperly installed roofs. So now you have a bum roof and a water leak and no contractor to go back into. So this was something that just kept happening over and over and over again. And so this week, there was movement in the House, and everything, and the whole earth opened up in my world again, kept me away from the moo-moo moment. And I'm so stinking happy. It's finally seen the light of day. So we get it back over to the Senate. I'm going to champion it, try to get it through. I'm so happy to get this consumer protection.
Well, and I will agree, right? There is a fine line, right? There's the adage buyer beware, and getting the government in between a contractor or a business and the consumer. I understand that, but to be fair, I do like the fact, and I'm sure that it's very narrowly tailored, right, to make sure that you're not doing that.
Right.
But at the same time, the consumer protection from things like that, especially because a roof is a huge expenditure, and you spend a lot of money on homeowners insurance to protect and replace those kind of things. And if and sometimes people are many times trusting by nature. So if a guy comes in and looks, you got hail damage, well, thank you so much for your help. Especially older folks and things like that probably are susceptible to that. So I'm very happy that that is getting movement for a little bit of protection in there from the from predatory roofers.
Yeah, roofers.
Roofers. Roofers, not roofers. So
it's got to be roofers.
It's got
ROOFERS.
It's got to be that, huh? Okay.
I'm going to say it is.
Well, we'll address it next week on the show, because I'm not going to bring Siri up just yet, because I'm so stinking excited about your Rated X.
Why?
I'm so stinking excited about your Rated X, because this just takes it to another level. So this response to you was for a Mother's Day tweet. A Mother's Day tweet. This is epic, and it's our good friend from last week, Beatrice.
Yes.
Beatrice does not like you.
No.
She does not like you.
I need to send this woman a check. Because the amount of real estate that I own in her head.
Oh my gosh. And it was a Mother's Day tweet.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so hit it up. So read your Mother's Day tweet.
Sending love and appreciation to all the extraordinary moms out there. Your boundless love, unwavering strength, and endless sacrifices are the pillars of our families and our communities. Thank you and happy Mother's Day.
All right, now, right off the bat, I can see how that would trigger someone. I can see it right now how that could trigger, especially our good friend Beatrice. So Beatrice responded, "Nobody wants you love, lady. Do something about pay disparities or hush."
Now, this is the same woman who corrected my grammar. No. I had a misspelling two weeks ago.
You had ehance instead of enhance.
Yes.
And she corrected your grammar.
So now she's letting me know nobody wants you love, lady.
Love, lady. And the comma is in there. So we know that this is an actual grammatical error on her part.
Does nobody really want my love,
But,
David?
well, I think that your husband and your children do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's somebody, right? But nobody wants you love, comma, lady. So had it been nobody wants you love, lady, she would have been calling you love, lady. So she was putting emphasis on the wrong syllables here, and she had the comma in there. So we know it was a grammatical error. So grammar police, Beatrice, you scored internet points last week.
Yes.
You get them deducted this week because you did in fact make a grammatical error. If you're gonna be the grammar police, you have to be perfect. You cannot make mistakes if you're the grammar police.
So, okay. And then the directive of do something about pay disparities or hush.
Or hush. So, what are you doing about pay disparities, Senator?
How about work harder? I don't know of, instead of sitting around and, bleep in about not getting paid, why don't you work harder?
There you go.
If you're a girl or a boy or you're old or young, we live in America where you can make more money if you work at it.
Boom, there at Victoria.
Yes.
There was.
I mean,
Victoria
how about my
made
pay
an appearance.
disparity? I mean, that 13,900. I mean, that is absolutely pay disparity. How about she work on that?
Well, nobody wants you love, lady. So, and to be fair, if we're going to expand this, if nobody wants you love, lady, and you start working on pay disparities, who are you working on pay disparities? Because obviously you're not working on it for them to love you.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants you love, lady. Or is she saying that if you work on pay disparities, people will then love you?
Oh.
Will they really, though?
No.
Will they?
No. I'm a pretty despicable person.
Yes, you are. That Mother's Day tweet proves it. So grammar police Beatrice, your internet points have now been deducted.
Yes.
We wish you the best of luck next time.
Yes.
But did you have a happy Mother's Day?
I had a fantastic Mother's Day.
Well, you doted on, and I know you got your gift.
It was really
taken
kind.
care of.
Yeah, it was really, really a good day. And now it's all about graduation because we have a young one that's graduating high school. So that is kind of front and center. And life just keeps on moving so fast. It's just fast, David.
Well, and what I will tell you is that I do want to give a shout out to UNC Charlotte, to Chancellor Gaber, the president of the foundation, Beth Krigler, Jody Kaplan, Alumni Affairs, who did a fantastic job with graduation. There were no incidents. There were no rowdy people running through with Palestinian flags or anything like that. I mean, it was my daughter graduated at 10 o'clock on Saturday from the great University of UNC Charlotte. My legacy. We got a legacy show for her.
And Go Niners, the girls softball won the conference championship again.
Yes.
The women Niners are continuing to bring home the gold.
Yeah, exactly. They're killing it, and well done,
Go
Niners.
Niners.
But graduation, unlike other spots around the country that did see some issues here and there, we did not here at University of North Carolina at Charlotte. So shout out to the chancellor, all the people who made that possible.
But boo to the folks at Duke who actually walked out on Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh my God! Well, you can't say something that people don't like.
And I got to throw off on Duke, so why not?
Well, yeah.
I mean, that was really the point of bringing that
up. Every kid, not every kid, but a lot of kids, they want to make their statements. But good for graduation. graduation and everything like
Good
that.
job.
Happy graduation for Brady.
Thank you.
Coming up, cannot believe she's a senior.
Yes,
That's
she
just
is.
crazy.
It's time. It is. So next week we'll see who else that we'll see if Victoria stays home and Vicky comes back, or we'll see what's going on.
It's a mixed bag.
Okay.
It's a mixed bag.
Okay.
You've been listening to We're Just Saying. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend.
Serving you better than ever before. 105.9